Hello everyone, this is StrawberryShorty here with another installment of The Letter. And I actually totally forgot to hit record when I just started this video 2 seconds ago, but thankfully realized right away. So let's just jump right in and answer this phone call from Rose.
Hey, Isabel. You at the office?
Ha ha. Very funny, Rose. I'm hanging up.
Don't, I'm kidding. BRC says the floor plan copies are ready for Miss McCullough to pick up.
She states that as if it already explains everything, doesn't it? Then, out of the blue, she launches a long rant about the awful state of Luxbourne streets. Are we gonna have to go to that freaking mansion to deliver these plans? All of which she says in a single breath that I can barely keep up and make out a single word. I stay quiet, if only to avoid becoming the next object of her frustration. She's similar to Becca in that regard.
I'm stuck in horrendous traffic right now. Bloody stupid drivers.
When she has finally ran out of things to complain about and stops, what she says next still has none of what I'm hoping to hear from her. Just a quick mumbled plea for me to meet the Wright's interior designer in her stead, and then...
Anyway, I'll leave it to you. Bye. Thanks.
Classic Rose. She ends the call without even asking for my input. Well, journal updated. I keep saying relationship stuff, but... we're closest with Zach right now. Uh-oh, Rebecca, what's happened between us? I think we're gonna be in the shoes of one of these characters at some point. Journal. A day after the open house, the Wrights were seen securing the mansion's purchase at Briar Realty's Luxbourne office. Parties involved in the transaction were surprised at how fast it went, but agreed it was to be expected when dealing with influential people like the Wrights. Happy over the sale, Isabella Santos treated her friends to lunch. The sky is cloudless and the noontime sun is beating down on the hard concrete when we leave the cafe. It's far from unbearable, but it's enough to put most people in a fickle mood or make them vulnerable to catching something. No wonder we have staff members going AWOL lately, not to mention my boss's mercurial moods. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I want our usual cloudy weather back. For all the gripes about the unpredictable weather, though, the streets of Luxbourne remain constantly busy. The hurried tapping of shoes against the pavement and inane chatter coming from the lunchtime crowd fill the humid afternoon air. A small reminder of the things we still have to do, regardless of how much I want to return to the comfort of my bed. Back to Briar Realty for me, Zach to a meeting with a magazine publisher featuring luxury houses, and Becca to her lesson plans and books at home. But more than once, I catch her sneaking a longing glance over something displayed on a shop window. Does she want to buy something? Maybe I can get it for her this Christmas. I turn my head to the last shop she checked out. A fleeting glimpse. There's ash inside. The world stills. Well, why would you want to buy this, Becca? She looks at me. Eyes hollow, gaze piercing, and boring into my very soul, like a set of chains to keep my whole body still. There are no shadows or whispers this time. Only a plea, a hum, low and indistinct, compelling me, beckoning me, intent on dragging me to the void beyond the glass. I don't dare move. My heart hammers against my ribs. Each beat, every thump, screaming at me to look away and make a run for it. But I can't. I couldn't. All of my limbs feel heavy while my own breathing strains in the face of her calls.
Leave me alone.
Why can't we just help her? Her mouth is stretched in a grin, wide and unpleasant. The panic building up in my chest forces me to take a tentative step back. I try not to stare at the decaying flesh, the blood streaming from the gaping wounds on her arm or her nailless fingers. I don't want this. Not like this. Not after I got what I want for Papa.
No, stop. Leave me alone.
Her face contorts and she lets out a wail, sharp and utterly unforgiving. Rage. There is only hatred and bitterness, as if the very notion of turning away from her is an offense in itself.
Please! I don't want this!
Well, shop elsewhere, ma'am. Before I know it, I'm stumbling backwards, my own throat hoarse from the screams I didn't even notice already coming out of my mouth. The back of my feet catches on a loose stone, sending me sprawling to the ground. The resulting pain completely jolts me out of the haze, blurring my mind. For a little while, my surroundings appear unfamiliar until Becca's face swims into my vision. A look of concern is on her face, and her hands are gripping my arms tight. Even Zach appears beside himself with worry while he stands behind her, acting as a shield against the small crowd of onlookers already forming around us.
What happened?
Bella, you okay?
The mouth opens and closes, but nothing comes out. The words refuse to form. On impulse, I sneak a swift glance at the display window. She's gone, but the foreboding feeling hasn't left me. My hands are shaking as I push myself off the ground, my weakened limbs relying solely on reflex and muscle memory. Something icy has made its home in the pit of my stomach. I want to throw up, anything to get rid of the wretched sensation.
You are screaming! Zach, call someone! No, don't! I'm good. I need to get to the office. Rose, the floor plans. Someone's going to pick it up. I'll see you later.
Careful. Don't stand up yet. Stay put, Isabella. Zach, you watch over her for me. I'll call for someone.
I attempt to smile to put her at ease, but it likely comes off as a grimace. I wish it would start us off on the last page. After a pleasant lunch with Zachary Steele and Rebecca Gales, Isabella Santos received an urgent phone call from Rose Cooper asking her to meet with the Wright's interior designer. Left with no choice, she hurried back to BRC, but on her way, on one of the shops she passed by, a familiar smile greeted her. Gently, I pushed her hands off my shoulders. My knees are still trembling, but I can stand. Leave. Leave me. Stay away. Away. The humidity is stifling, everyone's stares are unnerving, and Becca and Zach's concerns are suffocating. I don't want to be here. No more. I break into a run. I wish I hadn't left my bed this morning. Here, with only the occasional drips of water on the sink and the whirring of the fan blades to keep me company, it's easy to fall into a cycle of negative thinking. But even with the clutter to keep me company, the room still feels a whole lot bigger than usual. I hug my knees closer as a group passes by outside. Loud. So loud. If only there was a way to tune everything out, to keep my head from replaying every image, every sound of her. Her screams, her awkward gait as she reaches for me, her bone-chilling smile, her pleas for enough. That's enough. A shiver passes over me, though it's not from the hair still hanging damp against my back, not the draft that enters the room from the windows I've left wide open. My gaze shifts over to the letter sitting on the coffee table, its edges flutter innocuously as the wind touches it. Funny how an ordinary-looking piece of paper can bring this much trouble. The impulse to throw it away or rip it to pieces is still there. I can easily do it, but after that, what? Will she leave me? What about those people who've already seen it? Will they be okay? This uncertainty gnaws at me. Knowing that she's real and might also go after the people I care about, I just wish someone would listen. Believe me. The abrupt break in the silence nearly makes me jump out of my skin. Blindly, I fish out my phone from under the mess of papers and cushions where I've carelessly thrown it before taking a shower hours ago. Zach's name flashes brightly on the screen. Did we ever address what happened with those floor plans? Is he calling because of this afternoon? Frankly, it's the last thing I want to discuss, but I did leave the two of them there without saying anything. Knowing Zach, I bet he's worried.
Hey, Zach.
Oh, good. I thought for sure you're not gonna pick up.
Sorry, it took me a while to find my phone.
No worries. You game tomorrow?
I pause. I don't recall making plans with Zach for the weekend.
Did I forget something?
Remember that guy I told you about? Back in the movies? The, priest? For the blessing? Does it ring a bell?
Oh, right. I did say that, but I didn't think he'd actually go through the trouble, especially after what happened with this film. Sometimes I forget how kind Zach can be.
Yeah, I remember. Is he fine with it?
My friend doesn't mind. We're lucky he's not busy. So, tomorrow, he'll meet us at the mansion.
Okay. Sorry for the trouble, Zach.
Hey, no problem. I'm the one who suggested it to begin with, and, well, this afternoon you did surprise us. Never seen you scream like that. You scared the hell out of Rebecca.
I guess I owe you a lot for this, huh?
Nah, we're cool. You had us worried, but I know you'll tell us about it eventually. I just want to make sure you're doing well. You left all of a sudden, and you're not answering any of our calls.
He's trying to get me to talk. Normally I tell him I'm fine, say a few simple reassurances to put their minds at ease. Now nothing will form. I can't bring myself to say anything. He seems to have sensed my hesitation because he immediately changes the subject.
Yeah, anyway, I gotta go. I left something on the stove before making this call. Just soup. But it'd be embarrassing if I burned soup.
I doubt it. Ashton, on the other hand...
Oh, remind me to tell you about what he did with the pressure cooker next time. Oh, damn, it overflowed. Really need to get going. Bye, Bella.
He hangs up before I can thank him. The busy tone, though muffled, echoes through the receiver. No one is saying this will work. Even I am doubtful it will. But right now, I'll take anything. Anything to get out of this nightmare. Journal. Zachary Steele reminded Isabella Santos of the Ermengarde Mansion's blessing tomorrow. They will be accompanied by Father Norman, a well-known priest in the Anglican and Christian communities. He is described to be a warm and approachable person, especially by the youths. Apologize in advance, because I'm probably going to get you killed, buddy. Sleep comes easier tonight, and for the first time in a long time, I dream. Of clear skies, of unrestrained laughter from children playing in the streets, and of small, cramped dwellings. To an outsider, the sight does not paint a pretty picture. However, this is home to me. Is it raining? We gotta turn our TV off. Morning dawns bright and clear the following day. Although the air still feels muggy, and I miss the chilly autumn weather, it's one of those rare weekends when I'm up even before my alarm rings. If it wasn't for Zach's call last night, I'd probably sleep in. When 9 a.m. rolls around, I'm already on the way to the Ermengarde mansion. To think that I'd have to go back again, I'd be lying if I say I'm excited. I don't have to anymore. Rose happily gave me paperwork duty when I volunteered. We're on the last phase of the sale, too. Well, almost. Papers to sign, documents to finalize, various other legalities to settle with the current owner, and all that still. Never mind that its new owners want everything done within the week, when the process typically takes more than that. They want it done, we'll get it done. I really don't understand rich people. But money can do wonders. I won't be surprised if they'll be able to push the process just a little more, like what they did to secure the house. The point is, I'm under no obligation to return to the house anymore. Running is an option, of course. I can now move on to another property and forget everything. However, at the end of the day, it's always my conscience that wins. What if something happens to those who have seen the letter? Ash, Zach, Becca, Miss McCullough, the Wrights. The guilt will follow me to my grave. The mansion looms as we approach. Whispers welcoming me back, shadows calling. I hope this is the last time. They are engaged in a quiet conversation when I find them in the mansion's front gardens. But even with familiar company, it's impossible to feel at ease here. No matter who I'm with, the feeling of being watched is there, like the very place itself is aware of its trespassers. Zach, on the other hand, doesn't seem to notice, or he simply doesn't care, or he's already used to it. I could never tell with him. Sometimes, he's almost as hard to read as Ash. Almost. At least Zach doesn't ask for as much patience as dealing with Ash does. And that says plenty about him. Miracle of miracles how the two ended up the best of friends. He waves at me as I approach. True to his promise, Zach has also brought his friend with him. Father Norman. Somehow I expected him to look away.
Oh, don't be surprised. They say people who have found their calling are getting younger these days.
Sorry, Father. I didn't mean to say that out loud.
No offense taken, though I admit I'm a bit surprised. I didn't think someone would ask this house to be blessed after all these years.
You've heard of it, Father?
In passing. The occasional rumors and talk by the locals, nothing new. You don't spend years serving the church here without hearing a random hearsay here and there.
You never mentioned what you thought of those, Father.
Ah, but he who goes down to the grave does not come up. He shall never return to his house, nor shall his place know him any more.
But what I saw...
It may not be what you think. It depends entirely on what you mean by it. If you're talking about spirit beings, angels, demons, then yes. Are we talking about the spirits of people who have departed? The word makes it clear that once the deceased has left us, they are gone. But of course, I didn't come here to bore you with a lecture.
No, it was enlightening, Father. Thank you.
Just remember that a God who loves his children would never let them linger once the time comes.
That's what my papa often tells me.
Your father must be a good man. He raised you well, no doubt. Well then, shall we? Regardless of what it is, I'm sure the mansion's new owners would appreciate such sincere intentions. From a stranger, no less.
He lets Zach and I walk ahead. A relief. This way he won't see how tightly I'm clutching the straps of my bag. So if we'd picked the other option, we'd be here with Zach and a psychologist? Or Ash and a psychologist? Father Norman's probably trying to put me at ease, but the worry, the cold, restless, foreboding feeling has firmly lodged itself in my stomach, making its presence known with every step we take towards the house.
Hey, you okay?
Zach lightly nudges my side, careful, mindful of his motions, to avoid startling me, no doubt. I'm gonna be honest, this place gives me the creeps. Hey, we're gonna be best friends. It's hard to lie when Zach gives you that look. It's just there, kind that implores, a silent appeal. I'm not sure if he's even doing it consciously. Another breeze blows and I try not to shiver, try not to listen to the voices that may or may not be there.
Ugh, this place really gives me the creeps.
It doesn't seem more than an ordinary house to me, though. Damn, I should have brought my camera with me. I saw a few areas that'd be good for a shoot.
Is this not your camera, right there?
You think the new owners will allow it?
Shh! What if you catch something? Or someone in one of the pictures?
It just means they want to be seen, doesn't it?
Don't ask for it.
It's not like we can stop them if they do.
You're really not helping, Zach.
All right. Sorry. Don't worry. I don't think whatever's inside this house will do anything. I'm here, yeah? I'll take care of them. Or I think I can.
You're not that scary, but thanks. I'll be sure to run behind you if I see one.
Ridiculous talk through the temporary reprieve it lends is more than welcome. I want to see Zach punch a ghost. He offers me a smile in return, the least he could do, and with a slight motion of his head, he gestures for us to move ahead while my own fears are left forgotten for the time being. The things inside my bag clatter softly against each other while I rummage for the keys to the mansion. I should have heard the telltale jiggle by now, but didn't I put it in my bag last night? Seconds later, I'm sitting on my heels, and one after another, I'm taking out everything from every pocket, every slip. It'll be a pain to put everything back later, but I'm sure it's just under these... Are we gonna find the letter again? Nothing. Oh man, of all the times...
Is something the matter?
No, I'm sorry, Father. I think I left the key.
Will the door open by itself? Who's coming up with excuses? I'm wondering if they've both taken the time to go this far away from the city. With a heavy sigh, I grab the door handle to pull myself up, a string of apologies ready at the tip of my tongue.
Careful, Bella!
We've spoken with the current owners. Well, technically, you're not yet the owners, but...
There's a brief moment of confusion, and then I'm falling. The momentum of the door swinging open pulls me back first into the mansion's foyer before I can make sense of what's happening.
Ow, 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 my back.
What the... Isabella?
What are you doing here, Rose? Oh, I think we missed some dialogue. Okay. No time to nurse my bruised back or make up excuses, because the next thing I know, Zach's gently pulling me up right by my arm. Rose looks down at me with a mixture of apprehension and something I couldn't quite place. I'd say it's relief, but... Sheesh, good going, Isabella, right after you volunteered to work on the papers. And standing beside her...
Ma'am Hannah! Mr. Wright!
Oh, Isabel.
Isabella!
We always meet in the most interesting circumstances.
A complete understatement, darling. What are they doing in my house?
Abruptly, he waves his hand at Zach and Father Norman like their presence is a slight against his own.
I thought you said you wanted to do paperwork duty. What are you doing here?
Like a deer caught in the headlights. Unfair, Rose. That's putting me on the spot, and it leaves me no other choice but to answer.
The reason why I'm here?
Well, spit it out, Lily. We don't have all day.
My name is not Lily.
I'm just here to make sure everything is fine before you move in.
I'm so sorry, Mama. You said I'll go to hell if I lie. I likely will after this, but there's no other way. Well, it isn't entirely a lie. I am here to make sure no one disturbs them after they move in. It just so happens that what I'm checking for and trying to drive away is of the paranormal variety.
Oh? The house appears impeccably fine to me.
Mr. Wright shifts his eyes around in a careful manner, as if he's looking for faults in every crevice of the house. The grin on his face, though, when he returns his attention to me, is similar to what my Kuya Jordan had often given me when he was up to something. Usually a scare prank that inevitably ended in me crying. I never did forget the way my brother sneered at me then. A part of me thinks that, perhaps, if I hadn't been the object of his mischief in childhood, I would have grown a little braver.
Come on, little Lily. Lying doesn't do that cute little face any justice. I'm a very patient man. Now.
Oop. I accidentally skipped ahead. Right now, in the face of an almost identical expression, perhaps even crueler than what I'm used to, the lie I told falls apart.
The truth is, I was just thinking we could have the house blessed, but before move-in day.
It's a custom in my country.
And why would we ever need to have this house blessed?
For luck and protection.
I shrink under his scrutinizing gaze. For a second, I think that'll start shouting at me. Maybe Hannah will be on board. Instead, he laughs. Not the mocking, jeering kind, but one wondering if he's hearing things right. I say he was amused, but I honestly couldn't understand what was so funny with what I just said. Was it really that weird? Wasn't it a custom here? I wish Becca was here to explain stuff like this.
That's rich coming from you. When we saw Devlin Court, you didn't...
Shut up, Rose.
It's a small custom back home. I thought it would be nice to do something that would bring positive energy to the mansion, since this place has been empty for years.
She's adopted my lie.
And the papers, Isabella? I hope you did those first before this.
Of course I did. It's almost done, in fact. But there are some items I still have to double-check before finalizing everything. You know I don't sign without a thorough inspection. And well, this is what this is for too. I just thought it would be more efficient to do both at the same time.
Here, I thought you didn't want to go back.
A job is a job, Rose. Gotta do what you gotta do to make a living.
Oh, well, if that's the case, then go ahead. No need to be so hard on her, Rosie. I personally think it's a nice touch. I was actually thinking of the same thing, but you beat me to it.
Darling, Buttercup, please. You know these things don't work. No offense meant to the holy man, of course. That does not explain the nigger, though.
Whoa. All of a sudden, there's an awkward silence that even Rose, of all people, seems reluctant to break. I wasn't expecting that. This video isn't going to be monetized, because I don't have enough subscribers, but wow. Although a desire to do so is evident in the way her eyes nervously shifts to Mr. Wright. Meanwhile, Zachary's grip on my arm suddenly tightens. He doesn't say anything further, but there's a conflicted look on him when I glance up. That's the face he makes only when he desperately wants to give someone a piece of his mind, but chooses not to do so, mostly to avoid confrontation or fanning the flames to an argument. He has always been like this. Even among his own friends, he chooses to take a place-hating stance despite holding opinions of his own. Not that I won't say anything. I know Mr. Wright's a client, but don't mess up the sale, Isabella. Like, I'm with you on this. You should smack this jerk for saying bad words, but it's not a good idea. You can't just say that in front of other people. In front of Zach, no less. If Ashton were here, I know he wouldn't stand for it. I wish Ashton was here. And neither do I. There was a reason why bullies back home never touched my younger brother again after I gave them a taste of their own medicine. Is she about to punch this dude? You might be inches taller than me, but I'm pretty sure I could still hit a hit or two. Maybe. If only I'm not gonna get in trouble with BRC for it. But before any punch could be thrown, Ma'am Hannah cuts in.
Lucille Mitchell-Wright.
Lucille? In a voice too firm, demanding his complete silence.
What?
Instead of answering, she merely crosses her arms and shoots her husband a sharp, disapproving glare. That seems to have done the trick. He immediately shuts his mouth, but not before muttering a few inaudible words under his breath. At this, Ma'am Hannah could only sigh and roll her eyes, more than happy to get back on the topic at hand.
I'm sure she knows what she's doing, love. She got us the house, remember? Who knows what a little positive vibe can do? It could even give us what we've been eagerly waiting for all these years.
What have we been waiting for? I don't think I was ever informed of.
Children?
Nothing you should worry about right now.
I think she wants children.
Anyway, we've still got a few things we need to discuss with Rosie here. Over lunch, I hope you don't mind, Isabel. We'd love to take you with us, but...
Oh, no. Go ahead, ma'am. This'll take time. That's why there's two of us working on this.
Rose looks like she's about to murder someone. Probably me. Don't murder him! He's the one using slurs. At least she won't have to stay in a haunted property. She's getting the better end of this deal if anyone's gonna ask me.
Oh, wonderful. I hope the next time the three of us meet, it'll be over a closed deal, hmm?
Of course, ma'am. Please look forward to it.
Rose hurriedly hands me the keys to the house before leaving, mouthing reminders to secure the place and harmless threats for throwing her under the bus. I return it with a reassuring smile of my own, even if she's the one who often forgets. Sheesh. And just like that, gone just as quickly as they appeared, fleeting from one scene to the next, and leaving me wondering if this is simply what's typical for the rich and famous. If so, I'd rather stay with my rundown apartment in our little shack back home. There's still joy in the smallest things, after all. Oh, it just suddenly got afternoony. With a house this big, it's not surprising when the ceremony takes a few hours to finish. The sun's already high by the time we've gone through the last room. I can never say I'm a devout follower of my own faith, even with Mama and Papa's teachings. But hearing every word Father Norman uttered as we went around the house has put me at ease. All of a sudden, the mansion doesn't seem so scary anymore, which means something scary is going to happen. Maybe there is an end to this, or perhaps this is the end? Game just ends. Father Norman bids us goodbye upon exiting the mansion grounds. He has business in the village nearby, he says, a minute gesture to reach out to the members of their parish every once in a while. It reminds me of a distant memory, of helping hands and a few kind smiles that helped my family pull through when times were tough. But before he leaves...
Isabella, a word before I go. Zachary hasn't been really forthcoming with your situation, and it is something I understand it wasn't his to share. But whatever burdens you, know that it's not a permanent fixture in your life. Besides, you have people to bear it with.
I bite back the harsh retorts before they come out, masking it with a smile as we wave the good priest off. Harsh retorts for what? He's being nice. His words, though meant to comfort, has only left a bitter taste in my mouth. It's another thing. His words has left. It should be have left. Ugh. And if they don't believe you, what am I to do? A hand lands briefly on my shoulders, taking me out of my thoughts before they take a sullen turn. But my smile doesn't quite reach my ears when I return to him.
Say, do you want to go somewhere?
Right now? Where to?
Anywhere in the city. I'll leave it up to you.
I think I was at.
It wouldn't hurt. I've got some stuff I need to buy. Groceries.
Look at us. Are we gonna be romanced by the end of this?
And there's a shop I want to check.
Not the ghost shop.
Is it real food this time?
Let me guess. Rebecca?
She's just worried about you. Even I can't eat that much instant noodles.
Think of it as a talent. Let's just go, Zach.
I smile, a real one this time, devoid of any unpleasant thoughts. I'm gonna pause and check the recording time. Okay, we're at 24 minutes. Regardless of what happens between us these past few days, I don't want to think harshly of them. A little girl with pink hair? And a doctor? And a woman with sideways pants? Zach had me wait on a nearby bench upon arriving prior to going off somewhere. Is he getting us ice cream? He hasn't returned since, and it's been a good 20 minutes of being left alone entirely to my thoughts. And the birds. Birds are back. In this weather, the city park gives off a lazier and more languid vibe than usual. Where children were usually seen running around and playing, there are now people lying, leaning back on their picnic blankets, simply enjoying the afternoon sun. The smell of food drifts from nearby carts, and if the wind blows in the right direction, one would catch the whiff of freshly trimmed grass. I'd gladly sleep on this bench if I wasn't waiting for anyone. Soon enough, I see his hulking figure running towards me, carrying a medium-sized box on one hand and casually waving the other at me. He's panting when he reaches my bench. Sweat drips profusely from his forehead. There's a grin on his face.
Sorry, the line was really long. Really long.
You didn't have to run. Sit down first.
Nah, I'm good. Didn't want to make you wait for these.
I already know what's in the blue box before he opens it. Salmon rolls! The heck is this cutscene? Her hair is freaking out a little here. Cinnamon rolls, all 6 of them topped with a white cream cheese glaze. I love cream cheese. The very same ones I bought after I sold my first property. After I met Zach, Ash, and Becca. Funny how such a small thing could trigger a distant memory, no matter how mundane it is. I won't say no to free food, but why is he getting me these now?
What for?
He leans on the empty space beside me, wiping the sweat off his forehead before he answers.
An apology. And as thanks for yesterday and the other day.
You don't have to buy me anything, Zach.
You were upset. You haven't been yourself recently, and people kind of miss that, you know?
Such a nice guy.
Are you just saying that, or...
I hope you live through this.
No, really. Rebecca told me. You know how she is. Ashton, too.
Ashton was an ass. He should have been named Ashhole instead.
He went a little overboard, yeah. And I can talk to him if you want.
He'll still tease me about it, even if it's Rebecca telling him to stop. Besides, I can handle him.
You always do. And yesterday, when you talked me through my little slump, I thought, hey, I want our old Isabella back. Are you still upset?
There are times when I wish Zach had been my big brother, or Becca, my older sister. Let's make him our love interest. He's a very nice man. Zachary Steele. Did we see this already? Oh, new day. There we go. Father Norman, Zachary Steele, and Isabella Santos went to the Ermengarde mansion for the blessing. There they encountered the mansion's new owners, the Wrights. After the blessing, Zachary and Isabella were seen sharing a box of sweet cinnamon rolls at the park. Maybe life would have been a little easier then. Maybe Papa wouldn't be as sick as he is. I don't think that's how that works. Maybe I wouldn't be alone here. You're not alone, you have them. Then again, if they are what I wish them to be, I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have met Ash, too. Life back home is tough, but for all that, I wouldn't change it for one selfish wish. In this city of 68,000 people, I have people I could depend on. 3 of them, in fact. When you think about it, when you compare the numbers to the odds of finding someone like them, amidst the sea of nameless people, I'm
Thanks
lucky.
a lot for today, Zach. You didn't have to, but you did. I can always count on you.
Just me? No Ashton or Rebecca? Oh boy, they won't be happy to hear that. I don't mind being the favorite, though.
Nope, no favorites. But you cook better than both of them, so that's a plus.
If I put Ash on that list, Rebecca will kill me.
It's always been fool with you, ain't it?
Don't put it like that! You're making me sound like a glutton.
I'm not saying you are, but it does feel good to know there's someone I could invite for food to be able to eat all of it.
Only that? I thought we were also art buddies.
Oh, that too. But the food thing really stands out when you think about it. You do eat a lot for someone your, size.
Low blow. I take pride in my height.
So, is it okay now? Do you feel better? Does it still scare you?
I feel like we're gonna end up seeing the ghost like right after
A
this.
little. I'll be okay. I'll figure it out somehow. It's not as bad as the other day, and Father Norman helped too. I should have brought something to thank him.
Oh, we could visit him anytime. He loves hearing from the young ones.
He isn't that old, is he?
Don't know. He doesn't tell. I think I might have seen his face somewhere before. I just couldn't recall when or where. Ash says he looks like his boss, or the bartender at the local pub if he squints. Don't take his word for it, of course. He might have accidentally inhaled something from the forensic lab again when he said that.
This time the laughs from both of us is genuine. Back to the usual. Things may not have been the easiest lately, but it certainly isn't the worst that has happened. We do end up sharing the cinnamon buns between us, despite Zach's. More than the food, there's relief and contentment.
If you need anything, just ring, okay? Like when Ash annoys you too much. I'll help you with him, best friend or not.
No way. I can take him on.
Still an extra muscle wouldn't hurt, yeah? Just let me know, and I'll back you up. My sister knows this one thing to shut him up when he's being his usual self. Ask me what it is whenever you want, and I'll spill it.
Is he afraid of something?
I don't think that's necessary, but thanks. I'll keep that in mind.
He leaves me with a smile and a wave. Off to some new gig again. As for me, we still need to talk, Becca, Ash, and I. Put petty arguments aside like the adults we all are. This, however, is a start, no matter how small it may be. I just hope I can keep them safe. A light wind blows again, sending dry leaves swirling and the distinct smell of earth into the air. For the first time, the sunlight feels less harsh. Maybe a walk is good? I need to visit the grocery, too. Come to think of it, wasn't there an art store that opened recently near the park? I think it's a pause. I'm gonna check the recording time again. Oh, we're still in the park. The cat's name is Beruthiel? Or at least that's what it's called. What cat? Okay. I did not hear a meow. Did y'all hear a meow? It's an odd name to give a cat, in my opinion, but it speaks grace, much like the one that carries it. It shows in the way he swishes his tail and his eyes follow my hand's every movement. I'm not sure what he finds fascinating in me, to be honest. I wasn't the very picture of grace when he found me, after all. It was a bad idea carrying 2 heavy bags of newly bought art materials and groceries without help or a sure ride home. So I guess this was a time skip? We're still in the park. In hindsight, perhaps I shouldn't have brought all these at the same time. I didn't even make it past the park. And now I'm suffering underneath the glaring afternoon sun, hunched up on a park bench and drenched in sweat, in the company of a cat curiously watching my every movement. I hope it stays where it is. It's just a black cat, but back at home, they're considering it.
Don't look at me like that. I can act graceful as well if I want to.
Not that I've ever acted graceful in my life, of course. Growing up with rowdy younger brothers and a sister does that. Or maybe it's the opposite. Mom used to call me a little troublemaker before. Well, graceful or not, there's no use moping. A short breather and then I'm off home. Besides, it isn't like the company's bad, even if it's a cat, as long as it doesn't bite or crosses my path. Probably a demon cat.
Well, where's your owner, anyway?
Is it the lady? He has one, doesn't he? An owner? That's what the collar's for, isn't it? A bandage is wrapped on one of its paws, though. I wonder what happened to it. Did he run away?
Well, if you don't have one, I won't be able to take you in. My apartment doesn't allow pets. I tried to bring one home before. A cat. Not black, of course. And Rebecca threw a fit before the landlady could.
I take a small packet of sweets from one of the bags beside me and pop it open. As I'm about to put one in my mouth, he meows. My hand stops.
Do you want one?
Is that healthy? He doesn't meow again as I'm expecting him to, but I take his unblinking gaze as a yes. I shift the piece to my palm and hold it out to him warily. He sniffs at it once, twice.
Baruthia!
Oh, it's her cat, I guess. Where'd the collar go? Like a good, properly trained pet, Beruthiel responds as soon as he's called. Recognition comes as soon as my head snaps in the direction of the voice. Miss McCullough is hard to miss, what with her height.
I'm sorry. Did my cat hurt you? Miss Santos, was it? I'm surprised to see you here.
Nice to meet you again, Miss McCullough.
Were you harmed in any way? I'm sorry. Beruthiel's not exactly fond of other people. Even ran away from the veterinarian right now.
Oh no, he was just sniffing my hand earlier.
My Beruthiel's a she.
She? All this time, I thought. Pause the conversation, if this can't be called one, is uncomfortable. We're merely 2 people working different jobs for the same client. Frankly, meetings like this don't happen a lot, and if it does, a simple nodding of heads is enough. Still, trying to be friendly wouldn't hurt, right? I feel like we should talk about the cat. Oh, she's mad. She doesn't want to talk about the cat. I keep my tone cordial.
I'm actually surprised you have a cat, Miss McCullough.
And why exactly is that? There are a lot of people who have pets.
Yeah, but not a black one. I'm amazed you're taking care of one.
I don't understand what you're trying to get at. Is there a problem with my cat?
No, not at all. She's very sweet. Just in other cultures, aren't they a sign of bad luck?
Back at home it is. My grandmother used to tell me stories about it.
Nothing has happened to me so far.
Displeasure is evident on her face. Of course, I've forgotten that for other people, black cats are an omen of good luck. Never heard that before. There you go again, running your mouth off, Isabella. I rack my brain for a way to remedy the situation, but she holds out.
This is a good place to stop and end this conversation, don't you think so? It is good to see you again, Santos.
Complete dismissal if I've ever heard one. Well, that didn't go well. Watch where she leaves, though she stops shortly before crossing the threshold separating the park and the street. She faces me again, looking if there's something she's forgotten to say.
By the way, about the Ermengarde mansion, with my clients, it's the rights. I mean, I hope you don't mind me asking, but has the deal been finalized?
There's still a few papers they need, but the house is more or less theirs now.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know.
Wait, about the mansion. The
letter, the same one they saw. Whoever she is, she's asking for help. Someone. I want to tell Miss McCullough about that the urban legends aren't just legends anymore. They're real. She is not going to believe me.
Don't mind me. I need to go too. Have a good day, Miss McCullough.
I hastened to pack all the bags I've left on the bench and ran as fast as my legs can take me. In that moment, what I'm carrying in my hands weighs far lighter than the overwhelming guilt trying to consume me. Home. I want to go home. Anywhere where I won't be reminded of the house. Or of her. Of my own cowardice. Well, let's check our journal. While looking after a lost cat, Isabella Santos met the interior designer Marianne McCullough by chance. She also happened to be the cat's owner. The two were seen having small talk before Isabella abruptly left. So, where are we at? Let me check the recording time again. Still 35. I guess we'll continue. The food tastes less appetizing tonight. A pity. One would think that someone who had been on a continuous binge of instant noodles would find a home-cooked meal enjoyable. But it isn't. Hunger isn't what's gnawing at me tonight. Neither are my sore muscles. The TV runs loudly in the background, but what it says barely registers in my brain. It's hard when the things you're trying to forget keep returning to the forefront of your mind. It distracts you, eats at you, devours you. I wish this would stop. I wish I wasn't the one who picked it up. I wish it was somebody else.
In other local news, a woman was found dead in her home.
Yesterday evening.
Luxbourne police officials are currently investigating the crime scene, but has classified the case as homicide.
Is it someone we know? Is it Rose?
The victim, identified as Rose Pamela Cooper, 33 years old, working as a real estate agent.
Rose?
Discovered lying in a pool of blood in her two-bedroom flat with the words "Help me" repeatedly written on the walls.
Uh-oh. No. This isn't what I want. This isn't supposed to happen. None of this is supposed to happen. No one's supposed to die. Those are just stories, right? Legends. That's what everyone just kept telling me, so why? And I... Immediately, I rushed to my study table in search of my phone. My hand, cold from dread, clings tightly to it as soon as I touch its edges. A piece of folded paper, the letter, lying unassumingly beside it, slips to the floor when I pick up the device. But I pay it no mind. There are more important things. Right now, I need to call her. I was with her. I was just with her not too long ago, and she was okay. No. It isn't Rose, I'm sure of it. I just talk to her until a sob escapes me and hot tears begin to blur my vision. I wonder if we can save Rose. One after another, they trickle down, weighted by the very same guilt I refuse to admit I've been carrying from the start. The same one I've been hiding from. The same one that has put the people I care about in danger. My hands shake as I navigate to Rose's number on my contacts list. She'll answer, right? That's what she always does. She'll pick it up, tell me to turn down the waterworks, and call me a wuss afterwards.
She'll answer. Please answer, Rose.
Again and again I dial, whispering, praying.
Come on, Rose! Don't do this to me! Please pick up! I know you're there, Rose. You're not dead. Please tell me you're not.
This adds to the series of deaths and disappearances that has plagued Luxbourne in the recent years. The authorities are currently looking at a possible link with the notorious Anselm Butcher case.
The TV runs loudly in the background. A deafening static sounds from my phone speakers. But in my ears, I can only hear the screams, her pleas, her whispers. Help me. We are not safe. Well, that took a turn. News broke of Rose Cooper being found dead in her flat the evening before. The authorities classified the crime as homicide, possibly linked to the notorious Anselm Butcher, a mysterious serial killer who had committed brutal murders over the years and left their bodies with his signature phrase, "Help me." Oof. A buzzing sensation jolts me awake. My body still wants to sleep, to forget what I heard, what I saw last night. But it's there, nudging, prodding at me. Slowly I become aware of how awkward my position is and the aches that accompany sleeping in a curled-up position the night before. If I even slept at all. The memories are impossible to forget now that Rose is gone. They say it's easier when you say it out loud. Instead, the words weigh heavier on me each time. She's gone. Gone because of me. Gone because of one letter I was too curious to look at. I should have been more careful. I should have just kept my mouth shut. I should have destroyed it before anyone else had gotten involved. I should have... The notification light on my laptop blinks incessantly, mockingly when I look at it, as if it's calling me back to a sense of normalcy. I check it nevertheless, out of habit more than anything. To all BRC employees, in light of the recent events, there will be an all-staff emergency meeting from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Attendance is a must. Company changes, new hierarchy, and policies will all be discussed during the meeting. Everyone is expected to bring a copy of their own attendance logs and sales reports for the last 6 months to be submitted to your respective managers for review. We are expecting everyone's cooperation. Thank you, Joanne Alice Scholes, BRC HR Manager. If this were one of those typical days, I'd happily comply and get myself to her office. Today, Today my limbs just feel heavy. On one hand, going will keep me busy, take my mind elsewhere. On the other, the place in itself is a stark reminder of what my own fears have cost me. I should might as well go to work. Moping won't get me anywhere. This is just like one of those things, isn't it? You deal with it with a smile no matter how bad things get and hope for the best. Although my whole body feels like lead and my limbs are sore, I push myself away from the chair and head for the shower. The letter I dropped on the floor last night flutters open as I pass by, unfolding for no one else but me to see. Every word written on it glares back at me. They sneer. They ridicule. Like living beings fully aware of what they've done. With a huff, I pick it up and shove it in my bag, perhaps with more anger and frustration than I'm used to showing. This, too, I'll deal with. Somehow I'll find a way and make things right. I have to, for it takes more people from me, even if I must do it on my own. Papers rustling, telephones ringing, feet shuffling. Overall, today looks like a typical working day at Briar Realty Corporation. Except it isn't. The air is thick with tension and unspoken questions. No doubt everyone present has already heard about Rose. If they missed last night's report, they'd likely seen it in the morning news and the papers or on various news sites on the internet. Everywhere is a bitter reminder. In fact, everyone's giving me a wide berth, as though the mere mention of Rose would be enough to trigger something in me. It's appreciated, but it only serves to create a bigger hole in the place Rose is left. After lunch, my boss calls for a meeting. I don't have to look up from my work to know what it's about. He's in a strange, pensive mood today, probably out of respect for a dead colleague. Oddly, I'd appreciate it more if he just shouted at me today. Anything is better.
I'm sure you've all heard of what happened to Miss Cooper. She was a valued member of our team and she will be missed. There's no date for a funeral, yet. But those who wish to attend, kindly speak with your respective supervisors. By the way, has anyone heard about our still AWOL staff? None? HR, you know what to do.
Kill them too.
Santos, a word. In my office.
At the end of it, I've been given the entirety of Rose's workload, including finalizing the rights papers, and I've been promised an ample compensation for my efforts. I think he's expecting me to be happy about it. Instead, I immerse myself in my work. I have to, anyway, if I want to forget. Oh, journal updated. Oh, new day. Isabel Santos drowned herself with work the whole day to forget about the devastating news of her mentor's death. However, she ended up stumbling upon the myriad disappearances of our other colleagues, and just when she realized something important. Time flies when you do, and by the time I give notice, it's already late. Everyone's already gone, leaving me in the company of a radio and a member of our janitorial staff. I don't even know his name. Rose likely does. She remembers people easily
The
like that.
Luxbourne Police Department continues its search for the following reported missing people.
The radio blares one name after another. Hold on a second. Missing? Aren't they? Still, I have to check. Frantic, I turn back to my desktop. The loud tapping of my fingers against the keys fills the office for the better part of the shift as I look through everything. I love keyboard noises. The background about the place, its history from the current owners, and the list of employees hired under BRC. And I'm right. Of course I am. BRC may have a lot of staff, they may have a lot of agents hired, but I'd remember those names anywhere. After all, they're also part of the crew who worked with us in preparing the mansion for the open house. Then the letters. Oh, that can't be. I hope it's not
But
what I'm
Rose
thinking.
is...
Something snaps into place in the fraction of a moment. These people, Rose, the
I need
letters.
to... No. If it's like this, they still won't believe me. I have to make sure of it first.
What? What have you figured out? Evidence doesn't lie. That's what Ash often says, right? If I have proof, then maybe... I don't want to get my hopes up yet, but maybe there's still a way I can save them. The letter, my phone, papers, anything that would be useful. I grab all of them and stuff them into my bag. I can't stay here. There's something I need to do. There's something those people should... The noise cut sharply through the room, stopping in my hand short of cramming a pen into my bag.
Hello? Anyone there?
What's this? Is the letter being printed? Someone must have left their printer open again. I don't see where this is going. I may be in a hurry, but if I don't turn it off, another person is certainly enough to throw a fit tomorrow over wasted company resources. Most of the time, it's Rose who does the nagging, but the clicking of my pen in my hand is a welcome distraction as I search for the said object. Each stride my feet takes also echoes throughout the empty workplace. I've lost sight of the janitor minutes ago, and with me being the only one left, the tapping of my feet against the wooden floor is something I soon learn to appreciate. It doesn't take me long to find it. By the time I turn it off, 5 pages have already strewn about on the floor, the paper tray having also been left ajar. It's like, we all know where this is going, right? Sighing, I pick each of it up to put someplace proper. But the page that greets me next makes my blood run cold. Yeah. The chill that makes its way up my spine is as numbing as that day in the attic. The sheets crinkle under my sensed grip. All I can hear is my breathing as it rasps through my gritted teeth. But before I can even gather myself, take the first steps out of here, a total darkness suddenly envelops me. Uh-oh. As if hearing every horrid thought running inside my head right now, something snaps. Soft creak grating through the thin veil of stillness that has descended in the room. Every muscle, every bone in my body goes rigid at the sound. Familiar. So familiar now. Yet my own traitorous curiosity still presses me to take a careful peek over the cubicle's wall. It's her, standing in the only exit of the office, albeit facing away from me. She doesn't even need to turn around for me to know it's the same misshapen face, tattered clothes, and unsightly gait. The same person in the attic. I take a step back, the pen I'm holding slips from my hand, and her entire head turns. A scream almost escapes my mouth, and I duck under a table as quickly as I can. My heart is pounding hard against my chest. I can hear the bone-chilling sounds of her walk, the weird clicking that follows her, and the touch of switches something wet as she walks towards me, nearer and nearer. I'm gonna save in case they throw a quick time at me again. The sounds are slowly getting louder. The only thing keeping the whimper from escaping me is my hand as it covers my mouth. Someone, please save me. Ash, get your whip. Anyone. I close my eyes, muttering a continuous stream of prayers, all while attempting to steady my own breathing. Please, please don't let her hear me. Oh, we're gonna die. Yeah, we're doomed. Nope. But I see.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven.
Ghosts don't kill people. QTEs kill people.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen.
When the last lines of my prayer have left me, all that remains is a hush. None of her footsteps, none of those chilling sounds she makes, only silence. Is it safe? Another second passes and nothing comes. What? Ow! Yeah, we did it! The seconds, minutes stretch out before me agonizingly. Is she gone? Slowly I open my eyes to take a peek. I don't dare move or make a noise. Jeez. In face of such terror, I can only beg, let out silent pleas to whoever is out there. Please, please don't let her notice. I want to live. Hannah! Are we switching controls? It's far too easy to get them to pay attention and enraptured. See, I feel like we should have just a really high bar for ourselves. So, we're not doing great with Isabella or Ash. We oddly get along well with Rebecca. Do we know Rebecca? We like Luke a fair amount. Not as much as I like Zach, though. Well, let's look at our journal and then we'll save. I guess profiles. So, she is 31 years old. Occupation, heiress. Former finance manager. Education, master's in business administration, major in accounting. Likes bouillabaisse, dogs, fashion, parties and dancing, the beach, children, she wants babies, iconic, women, charity, math. Of the Lux-born upper classes, Hannah is used to living a life of luxury. Absent parents made her crave for attention, though something she gained from her private tutors and nannies instead. It was never enough, however. She studied hard in order to make her parents proud, going into business so that she could work alongside them. The challenge in her otherwise privileged life was certainly a thrill for her, at the very least. She had many suitors, dating different men and women. Oh. But it was through work that she met Luke. It was love at first sight for her. Upon her parents' death, Luke proposed to her. That was the move that led to the merging of Wright Enterprise and Evans Incorporated and her subsequent retirement. Their 7-year marriage is strained, but Hannah tries her best to make it work. Kind of makes me think that he murdered her parents. Well, we're gonna end this part here. Things are getting pretty interesting. We're controlling a new character now. So, I'm looking forward to seeing what's happening. I hope you all enjoyed this. Please leave a comment, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!